defenseman picks it up, passes it up to a forward.
With like 7 seconds to go.
Coast to coast. What?
It's actually, yeah, Mike Richard, please don't touch him, he's pretty. Let go of him, he's old. Like, what is he gonna do? What are you doing? He's a baby. He would do nothing wrong.
Guy loves chicken too.
Chewbacca?
I said $1 million and the rights to Newfoundland.
She answered the question. Agree. I was right.
Honolulu.
You guys are so loud for people who are agreeing with each other.
Yes. So I'm just generally kind of bummed, Alex.
I'll break away. You can't stop me now. Try and stop me how? Try to break up my old band with everything that I've got.
So we're back with another show, and
That sounded
right off the top, we've kind of loosely talked about dropping down to one a week, just because like we're busy students, life gets in the way a bunch. I missed last Thursday because of life as well, and then a reason that I have argued that we don't do that is because of shows like today.
Yes. I was literally gonna be like, where are you going with this?
He's actually quitting.
Yeah, he's just dropping
It's my
bomb
on us live.
We have a dozen topics to get to, so
and then some.
it is very helpful that we have a show with that's 2 days after this one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to preview the show because I don't know what we're going to get to, but let's start with the Calgary Flames, who have played 2 games since our last show. Two games since our last show? Yes, 2 games.
Yes.
One game since our last show. My bad. I really went back to last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
One game against the Nashville Predators, which I had open here, and now I don't have it open here.
So it's a 2-0 win. It's Dustin Wolf's first shutout. Congrats to him.
Phil didn't jinx it.
Daniil Miramanov getting his first of the season, and Blake Coleman icing it with the empty net goal with a bit over a minute left in the game.
Close game. There wasn't a lot of goals for like the first 2 periods or something.
Yeah, it didn't happen until 6 minutes into the third period.
Mm-hmm.
Boring.
UC Saros kind of not getting left out to dry necessarily, but he has a .969 save percentage, and his team had no goals to show for it.
Yeah, with a team with like the Predators that's struggling a lot out of the gate here, especially with their offseason acquisitions. We keep bringing it up because it matters. They won the offseason, and then they're losing the regular season considerably.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Saros kind of get that bounce back a bit, but boy, does it suck to not see anyone else supporting him.
Yeah, no, it's been very strange seeing this, especially when you have like Stam. I know last game they did actually really well. I believe it was against Vancouver, I want to say, but other than they've not done very well. Other than that, I searched up just Nashville.
He just like Google's Nashville.
That's a film move. That's a film move. Great city.
Just Nashville.
Great city. They won that game 5-3, but again, they're 6-10-3. That's not a very when you see like if you look at their roster and see Forsberg, Yossi, Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea, O'Reilly, Saros, you don't say, "Oh, that team is that's a 6-10 team."
Yeah, that's true.
No, you very do not.
You kind of do think old a little bit, but
Who would have thought? If you grab a bunch of old guys and try to make a team out of them, it doesn't work.
It's a little brutal. I mean, and I think the story of the Nashville Predators comes out. I'm watching the Edge goal visualizer from
the empty net,
the Blank Coleman empty netter, and
Now
it
you're
shows
watching the first one.
No, okay. I was trying to make a point, and it just shows Jonathan Marchessault with just under a minute or just with some time left. It's a 1-goal game, and just the absolute most brutal giveaway you could possibly give, like just on the blue line and goodbye.
Yeah, he goes red line, tries dropping it down to Roman Yossi, and Blake
Coleman's just right there, snatches it, throws it into the net.
If you want to share my screen, I'll whack it up there as well. There's my screen. Cool. So as you were saying, it's in the Flame zone. Marchessault picks it up at the red line, holds it, a little bit of a glitch right, passes it right to Coleman. And
that is
good night.
brutal.
Just so brutal.
That
And
is.
that's the story of the Nashville Predators.
And then
this year.
someone, I like how the puck is like when they hit it out of the empty net, like in anger, the puck like it's still
It kinda
trapped.
Still going.
Well, look, just on.
Yeah. And Marchessault just
Marchessault's the one
snaps
that-
it because he knows he just screwed it up. Because again, they had their goalie pulled, trying to build some momentum, try to tie it up at least, and something like that ends the game. And the Calgary Flames, they've been good at putting away games these days.
So I've been kind of against the Flames doing well.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it once or twice or thrice during the show this season so far.
We literally have
But-
like the two polar
but-
opposite Flames fans.
I really tried to shift to your perspective here. I really have recently. Because I was thinking, well, okay, because I watched, I think it was our episode Old School where we were first back in the radio booth, and I went off saying, no, like, whatever the position is, they should rebuild, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, okay, let's take the position of Phil here for a second. I'm going to go to the Puckpedia. I'm going to see what they have. I'm going to look at the picks they have. And as it stands right now, I'm kind of shifting a bit more towards your viewpoint.
Let's go.
Because if you want to share my screen again, let me
gonna be
just
like-
zoom in here.
Flames are gonna lose like 3
Boom.
games, and Alex is completely just gonna change
You're
back.
gonna get so mad.
I was looking at their picks over the next 3 drafts here. And in the next 3 drafts, the next 3 rounds, they have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I believe, picks. 8 plus 5 is
13.
13. They have 13 picks over the next 3 years in the first 3 rounds. So if you do something with that, I think that is incredibly helpful. So I'm still not fully against the full rebuild, because honestly, the team that is on the ice right now, I'm still not a huge fan of. You know, I made reference in that Old School, or I asked a question in that Old School episode again of, is this team a Stanley Cup caliber team? And Marek's answer right away was no.
And my answer right away is no as well.
Yeah. And
We're not going to win the Stanley
I think
Cup.
there's
but-
only one person at this table that could say their team's a Stanley Cup contender.
Casey Freeman,
Yeah.
with a signed Duchesne jersey.
It's actually just a sticker, but it
Okay.
looks like it's signed.
It does look like it's side.
It does actually.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not fully against them succeeding, but I do still want to see some moves that look towards the future rather than just kind of sitting where they are.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
fair.
If I see, like, if I wake up tomorrow and I see Rasmus Anderson's got traded, I'd first cry.
Drop to your knees in
But
a
yeah,
Costco.
I dropped my knees in a Costco or a Superstore or wherever I am. But then
We're Costco.
I would very want to see what that return is.
Yeah.
Well, you don't trade in November unless you are like basically your season's done.
Again, if I woke up tomorrow.
I hope you
wake up
call
tomorrow?
that.
I hope you do wake up
If I wake up
tomorrow.
tomorrow and I see that trade.
Okay.
I hope you wake up tomorrow,
Oh
but
my
I also
God.
think that'd be the funniest thing if you called that. If they just randomly trade him tomorrow.
Yeah. No, but
That would be actually wild.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Around the trade deadline, if I wake up and I see that Anderson's been dealt somewhere, I would hope that that's for something moving forward. I'm not against an Anderson trade, but I also am kind of starting to like them
I would
find success this year.
If they were to trade Anderson, I think you get maybe an AHL or like a 3rd or 4th line like role player and then picks. That's what because if you're trading him assumingly to a contender.
So
I think we don't need picks over the next 3 years.
I
though.
would
That's why
hope,
if that's what you're trading for, like if you're trading Anderson to a contender, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get maybe a role player, maybe an AHL player, and some picks.
well, I wouldn't mind a 3rd line center and a 4th and a 5th.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a top 3, especially if we're getting a 3rd line center, but it's been kind of leaked or mentioned that Conroy and Nonis and company are looking for a 3rd line center, like looking for center depth. So if we got that, the Anderson trade plus a couple picks, I wouldn't hate that. But I am starting to come around on the Flames. Like, I'm being happy that the Flames are winning.
I can't wait till
But I don't want it to mask the prospect of them not rebuilding.
I think sell high.
talking the mic.
You have to actually like.
I still think sell high, just because you know, you're not going to win this year. Probably not going to make playoffs this year.
We're gonna make playoffs this year.
Again, only one person can say that.
Yeah. Only one person can say for sure that their team's making playoffs this year.
I think we're gonna.
You sell high on a couple guys. If you get to like the point where you're noticing that it's snowballing, and it's like you're winning 1 out of every 4 games, you dump some guys and you say, all right, go have fun. Give us whatever you want.
Fair enough. I think one thing, and obviously I'm a little biased because we're here talking about the Calgary Flames in this moment. One thing that we kind of forget when we're watching hockey and we were putting on our podcasting hats here is it's supposed to be fun to watch hockey. I'm allowed to have fun while watching hockey, and I'm allowed to want to have more fun while watching hockey. And watching your hockey team win is way more fun than watching them lose, even when you're not like bringing in the idea of trying to analyze everything. I'm happy with the team. I like what we're doing this season. There's a lot of heart in this team that we haven't seen in the last little bit. Like some of these, even the games that we haven't fully made the comeback happen, they're close comebacks that we wouldn't have made happen last year or the year before. And I think that's why I'm okay with this team doing okay. That's why I think we're going to stay in that wild card spot.
Yeah, but you realize that the Oilers are the team behind you.
I do see
those are
that,
the same
yes.
Oilers who just got shut out by the Montreal Canadiens.
We'll touch on the Oilers in a bit because there are 3 things I want to mention on the Oilers before we leave Calgary here. So they host the Islanders tonight, and then they host the Rangers on Thursday. That Thursday game is roughly the quarter mark of their season.
That is so weird to think.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what's so funny about the NHL is right now there's so many opportunities for any team to make playoffs. Like if you look at some of the wild cards in the East and the West, you win a game, you're in playoffs, even if you're not doing very good.
Except for the Calgary Flames. No opportunity for them to make playoffs.
I don't think that's what he was saying.
Chicago, Nashville, San Jose, Anaheim also a bit out of the race. I would say that line pretty much cuts off at St. Louis, who are 3 points back of a spot along with Utah.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is Pittsburgh's been so bad, but they're 1 game off of a playoff spot.
Well, because the Metropolitan has been
all bad.
Woof.
The wild card.
I know. Again, because the Metropolitan. Look at the wild card race. The Metropolitan is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Like the Metropolitan has
4 playoff spots right now.
Yeah.
Almost 5.
Very narrowly 5. Almost 6. Granted, the Atlantic is also not great with Detroit and Montreal. Just kind of lingering around the bottom with Columbus.
Tampa Bay is 19 points and are in a playoff spot right now. Brutal.
They're going to have 21 by tonight, by the way. They play Pittsburgh.
They play Pittsburgh. Fair enough.
Maybe Crosby will get a good goal. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Again, you can't it's annoying. You can't count really any team out besides like the obvious. And it's weird to consider Nashville.
I agree. Yeah.
Is it weird to consider Nashville part of that group?
Yeah, it is wild.
Really, it is so weird for me to be like, yes, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the San Jose Sharks are all better than the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
At this moment. In points.
Yeah, I never would have predicted that at the start of the season.
In points.
No. Never once would have predicted that.
I'm 100% if you gave me the players without records and standings, I'm taking Nashville over a lot of the worst teams. Nashville should not be as bad as they are right now.
So when we're just talking about that, I was going to bring up I don't want the Flames to succeed this year because then that damages wherever their first round pick is, but then I realized it might not even be their own. So they don't have their own first pick this year, which means they traded for the 2 picks that they have. The two picks that they have are New Jersey.
Well, you're not getting much from that.
Florida.
Yeah.
I hope you're 29. I'm hoping you're 28.
So it doesn't matter.
So their success doesn't ultimately matter on where they draft.
Too bad you just are Chicago. It's
that'd be
hilarious.
Much different.
Do you guys know when they traded away their own first round pick?
But
for
then
Marshall.
who has their pick?
Yeah. Do you guys remember who had their pick?
No.
Edmonton?
Montreal
Montreal.
in the Monahan trade.
That's also somewhat unfortunate
Let's
for Montreal.
I think the Flames should trade away Coleman.
Let me reiterate. I think the
Fire
Flames.
sale.
I think
Get
we should.
rid of
You ever heard of
everyone.
this AHL team? Let's make that the NHL team.
Send them
Yeah,
all
the San
to
Jose
Rangers.
Sharks.
Yeah, and they acquired their
San Jose Sharks beat the New Jersey Devils. They're like,
True.
they acquired their 2 first rounds in the Markstrom trade from New Jersey, which Kevin Ball also came over from. And the Panthers was acquired in the Kachuk Huberdeau Weir trade.
yeah.
Yep. So,
Shall we?
why not we send it? Anyway, Dustin Wolf makes his second start in a row tonight, which is super fair, coming off his first career shutout against
filled in
the
jinx?
New York Islanders. I didn't say anything about that shutout. That
No,
Oh no,
but
you jinxed
You
the other
didn't
one.
jinx
You
it.
jinxed one before.
You did.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
You were 0 for 1. That's
You
all.
And I
learned, eh?
admitted it.
I jinxed one for Alex. You weren't on the last show. That was really funny.
Yeah, we did talk about that on the last show. Anyway, that Islanders Flames tonight.
Predictions?
NyQuil on ice.
NyQuil on ice.
Yeah.
But the Flames are gonna win.
Hey, who said what for predictions?
I think I said
I said Island.
I think I
don't
said
even
Isles.
remember.
I'm-
I'm like
It was
half
so long
asleep when
ago.
I'm sending those.
So we
It was
have
so long ago.
Alex chose the Islanders, Phil chose the Flames, Braeden chose the Islanders, Casey chose the Islanders, and I chose the Flames.
Let's go.
I don't like the Islanders. No.
Can
Who are you?
can we move to Edmonton?
Almost
We
like
can
counts.
move to. I don't want to move to Edmonton.
Maya, share
don't
my
wanna live in
screen,
Edmonton.
please, if you'd be so kind. Much appreciated.
Oh, I thought we were
Oh.
gonna go on something like a good thing first.
It's the picture.
No, we're gonna start here. We're gonna
Kaboom.
start with the Nurse Reeves hit.
Ew, I don't want to look that.
This resulted in a 5-game suspension, which we talked about a lot last year with suspensions. It was a phone call one, which means the maximum was 5 games.
Yeah.
Because you're in more trouble.
No, so if you're in person, you're in more trouble.
While the photo is still up on the screen here,
The least amount. They just email you.
No, phone's the lead.
the slow motion replay of the hit doesn't do it justice. You have to watch it in full speed. But if we're looking at the photo here, Nurse's feet are pointed towards Toronto's goal. His head is
going the other
100 degrees the other way.
Ugh.
He did not return to the game either.
Nope. And apparently he's out for 5 to 10 days, I think.
I don't know if
Is
this
something that was
This is a weird take I have for suspensions. So I think Reeves should be out as long as the person
Yeah.
he's injured is out. You injure a guy.
I think that's how it should be as well.
yeah.
Obviously it's based on intent. So obviously like the guy who injured Doughty by accident wouldn't be getting a suspension because it was an accident, obviously, right?
5 to 10
But I'm just saying, if Nurse is out 30 games, why isn't Reeves out 30 games?
Yeah, Reeves should. They should be out the
He's
same
out
amount of
5
time
to
that
10
the injury.
days.
Yeah.
Alex was right.
He did luck out, I would say, for there.
Yeah, hopefully at least.
But
He's hopefully only.
I don't know. That's just like I was talking to a few of my buddies and my dad about it, and they kind of agree. It was just that if you injure a player, and you're the one that does it, and it is not legal, that's why there's suspension, obviously. Why doesn't that person just serve however long that other person, the person they hurt, is out? I don't see if they're out for the season, then shouldn't have hit them like that.
Yeah, that's a brutal.
Obviously, there'd be
hit.
some different rules and processes that would go into that. Like, if the guy is out for the rest of the season, would that correspond with you? But if the guy's out, let's say 8 games, you're out 8 games.
Yeah.
Why was Reeves trying to argue there? Before he went into the penalty box.
I'm not. I think he was.
sit
I think he was
down,
talking
brother.
to the ref. Reeves also did, from what I heard, reach out to Darnell Nurse.
I think he went over to the locker room.
Yeah.
I did
so-
see that as
Yeah.
well.
I do.
At least he had enough. That's a. good
Yeah.
thing.
So if we can
Obviously.
take into account today's November 19th, we're not going to see Reeves in a Toronto Maple Leafs uniform until December.
Yeah.
Good.
We're not going to see him until December 4th when the Leafs host the Predators.
Good.
And I say that because it's kind of crazy that there's 4 games over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days. They play tomorrow, 3 days off. They play Sunday, 2 days off. Florida, 2 days off, and then Tampa.
Yeah. Could
Yeah,
you
I feel
imagine getting a game suspension right as the Christmas break?
The Leafs have the best schedule in the NHL. After my dad thinks it's based off of who's been in the league longest kind of thing, but then I look at Montreal's schedule and they're not set up as well as the
Wait,
Toronto Maple
what do
Leafs.
you mean like been in the league the longest? How does that work?
Like these teams who have been in the league the longest get the best set up schedules for themselves.
Oh, the team. I
They're-
meant like the players on the
Oh,
team.
no.
The
team.
Leafs-
So I was gonna say Montreal's a very young team. So is Toronto.
The Leafs December isn't great. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 back-to-backs
You also got to keep in
in
mind
the
though,
month of December.
they
That's
they're
fine.
they're putting all these games together because of the Four Nations.
I mean,
But then you would think there's more than 4 in the next 12 days.
Yeah, that's true.
Like even that's why I was so confused when Dallas was gone for like a week and didn't play. I was like, their schedule looks fine.
Well,
Dallas, I find, has the best schedule in the
I don't
league.
like
I'm more making the observation that 1 month is rougher than some others.
Yes,
So like
yeah.
their November is fine, but their December is a little bit packed. Is more what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then also, is it packed or is it just like, if you look at any, is it just like a normal schedule? You know what I mean?
I think 4 back-to-backs in a month is bordering on.
Plenty.
Yeah.
I remember last season because there was a lot of weird schedule. I think like just going off like the Penguins schedule, they had 7 games off or 7 days off in the month, and the rest they played games, which
Yep.
is quite ridiculous.
Enough Leafs talk. Let's actually talk about the Oilers now and something that happened on the night of the last show. Connor McDavid was the 4th fastest player to reach 1,000 points.
And a couple of us predicted the right game.
A couple of us
Yes,
predicted
I think
Nashville.
we-
I
Did
I
you
predicted
pick the
him
Nashville
to.
game?
You and I said Leafs.
I said Leafs.
Oh.
You two, I think, said Preds. You said the Wild.
Dude, hey, he's got 2 more days, then he can hit 1,000.
Let's do a high five, but put Marek's head
What?
in the middle.
He's at 1,000.
And that's the joke.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Did not land.
2 more days and he can hit 1,000.
Did not land.
That was the joke. Friend. Okay.
My friend, that joke did not land.
Right after
Great
I'm stoked
play,
I got
too.
that right.
Great play on that 1,000 point as well.
that was one of the best.
like the one-timer.
Don't you love that though when like a player, like the 2 combinations of players that are like known as a dynamic duo just are the only 2 like point getters
Because
on
they
that
kiss
goal?
each other the most.
Yes.
Well, I-
That's also very not a McDavid play.
No, it is-
is the one-timer when he's going forward.
it's
a
usually,
one-timer
it's usually
period.
him passing to Draisaitl for that.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
And like,
Then when
and like you
Draisaitl-
said, you're glad it's not the second assist is the 1,000 points.
Yeah.
It's like he's either the assist or the
He earned
goal.
it.
I wonder
Now-
if they
now
were
you
just
gotta-
trying to get it to him the whole game.
You gotta hopefully now do it the other way, where McDavid assists Draisaitl.
In his 1,000th point?
Yeah.
He's close to 1,000 points?
No, I'm just saying when
Oh.
he hits it.
So give
They
me
won't
a
be playing
quick
together.
second here, if you guys want to
Draisaitl's
dance
at
about it.
874 points.
So he's got a
He
way.
can do that this year.
I mean,
I'm calling last game of the season.
basing it off like last season, he could hit that next
That's
year.
like 200 something
year.
points.
Next year he could hit that.
Yeah, this year he could
125
do
points.
it.
Oh, he could easily hit that next year.
It's only 125? I thought it was 200.
But no, like,
$874.
those dynamic things are kind of
So-
cool. Like,
So 126.
So he's got the rest of the season to go for
Make
now,
900.
and then
Make 1,000.
I mean with Edmonton, it's like he's got 5 100-point seasons. He'll hit it next year.
oh, 100%.
So
Calculator.
it's not. That's not the one I want to bring up. What I want to bring up is honestly a little bit kind of funny to me. So
funny to
he's
you?
27.
Like
He could realistically be in the NHL for another 10 years.
yeah,
Does he get to 2,000?
Yes.
Why not?
probably.
Connor McDavid?
Yes. Does he get to
Has people
2,000 points?
done that before?
With how good of a playmaker
Has anyone
he
done
is,
that before?
Yeah.
I think Francis.
I want to say Gretzky and Lemieux, Yager are my top 3 for that.
I just don't. Did they play that?
I did actually see like something about that was
2,000
who was like who would be a
points?
player from our generation that if they weren't hurt enough would get to 2,000.
Wayne Gretzky is the only player to hit.
it?
Jaromir Jagr hit 1921.
Gretzky's
Oh
almost
my
at
God.
3K, and then Yager's at 19.
What's
Oh
Lemieux
my
at?
god.
He's
Lemieux's
at
like the-
1723.
Me looking at what
Oh,
Joe
Crosby's almost
Pavelski's
there.
at.
He's not that high.
So is McDavid the second player ever to go to 2,000 points?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
By the end of the season?
Okay.
Yes.
I just don't think it matters if he
Quickest
doesn't
ever.
if he doesn't get like a win and for a cup.
I think he's a
He's
first ballot
gonna
Hall of
get
Famer
one.
regardless.
Oh, I get that. But like look at Ovechkin. He had everything, every individual award, a bunch of things, and yet people still overlooked him because he had no cup. And then he got a
has a
Stanley
cup.
Cup.
I
This
wish
was before 2018 in the contest.
I wish
so long
I wish I
ago.
could take that as a segue, but I do want to talk about the Oilers a little bit more.
I didn't even mean for that to be.
I
fair.
know you
That
did
would
not. That
actually
was
been perfect.
really smooth.
He's just naturally with it.
What a shame. There is something I did want to mention from the Toronto Maple Leafs and Oilers game that isn't the Reeves hit. Let me bring up the Edge goal visualizer again.
Yes.
I also want to say one quick thing about I think the Oilers game last night. I sent it to the group chat. You didn't respond, but I asked you. I was like, how did you feel about Xhekaj's hit on Hyman, where he rocked him?
Oh, I just don't respond.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you would respond.
Man's got a
because
point.
You didn't like him.
Don't really care.
It was a pretty big hit, though.
Maya, if you can share my screen on this one again. This is the McMahon goal in the third period.
Bobby Big Man?
Yes,
We're
Bobby McMahon.
undefeated when
Bobby
Bobby
Boucher?
McMahon scores.
Bobby
So,
Boucher?
Watch
We're in the Bourbon Bowl?
McMahon 74
Okay.
and watch Bouchard number 2. Look how fast McMahon goes in relation to Bouchard. McMahon is the third guy back.
Oh my goodness.
How's that going for
Wow.
second?
Can you go
Passes Bouchard for first.
Can you speaking of goals in this game, can you go to, I believe, Leafs' second goal?
Just give me a quick second, just wrap this up here.
Was
When
that
we-
McMahon's second goal? Yeah.
That's McMahon's second goal. When we talked about the Four Nations Canadians rosters, I brought up the idea of Bouchard being on this team. I brought up the idea of a Uyghur-Bouchard pairing. If you watch the video of this goal, Bouchard is standing straight up when he hits his own blue line.
Dude, to add to you have to watch that goal because that adds to your point so well.
Yeah, you have to watch that goal.
No, the goal that I'm showing.
Who is it
talking
that
about.
you're
the other one?
thinking of? Because I remember
'Cause it
seeing
does-
a
it
goal
does
where I'm
not-
like, this person's just standing there letting this happen, but I couldn't tell you what game it was.
Phil and I just watched it, and it's all Bouchard, and
Oh.
I can provide some funny context in this when you pull it up. Basically, so the announcers, all the announcers were like,
That wasn't Bouchard's
Oh
fault.
no, that wasn't the Bouchard goal.
That was McDavid's fault.
no, but in the actual game, McDavid was not there.
That was the Nyes goal, not the
Yeah.
McMahon goal.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So
It's the one where Bouchard.
mark my screen on the.
Yeah,
There
so-
we go. Okay, so we have Bouchard right here. Let me zoom in a bit.
It's a little annoying because
Oh,
it
there
does
we
look
go.
like it bounces off McDavid, but in this context, just before you hit play,
Yep.
what the announcer is saying right now, just before they jinxed him, is they go, "Oh, Bouchard has played so well. He has not had many giveaways. He's been playing very good offensively and defensively," and then proceeds to do this.
So Bouchard's right there. He
And
has the
I know
puck.
it looks like it hits McDavid, but it doesn't. It goes right.
It does hit McDavid.
It didn't look like it on the clip.
It absolutely hits McDavid.
Okay.
It's him in the leg or like thigh area.
It's still a bad pass.
Yeah, was that supposed to be?
It's a bad pass anyway, because
And then
so they come back.
Going to
yeah.
Domi.
Was he just hitting it hard to McDavid?
So
the announcer right here, he's not giving up many takeaways this game.
what level of hockey have you played?
Competitive for 13 something years.
So if I were to look at right here, so Maya, computer screen please. Bouchard has just made the pass here.
Yeah.
He's going to McDavid or worse, Skinner.
Or who's the guy who's very top of the board?
Here?
Yeah.
Skinner. That's Skinner up
Oh,
there.
Jeff Skinner. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. the other Skinner, my bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tried passing it to Stuart Skinner at this point.
Ty Emerson is right beside Stuart Skinner here.
Yes.
Why is that not your go-to?
That or
Just like-
are they on a penalty kill?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they're not.
Where's the other forward?
Right here.
oh, right behind. Yeah.
Okay, well,
In the
if
circle
McDavid
there.
moves over to if I don't pass that and I don't look back, I'm making the bank pass to McDavid for a breakout. And maybe McDavid hits Skinner for a possible quick.
It could just be how fast that thing moves, but it almost looks like he was trying to hit Skinner.
It does
Oh,
look like
yeah.
that.
Passed out the puck
And Connor just got in the way or something.
But like
supposed to be going.
anyone who knows hockey, literally one of the number one rules you're told as a kid is don't pass in the middle.
And the reason that I think it was Skinner is because the pass hits, like the reason I think the pass was going to Skinner is because the pass hits McDavid in like the upper leg kind of like butt area.
Was he backwards?
Yeah, so
Like, he
it's
wasn't-
coming like
No, he was going forwards.
Oh, so he wasn't even facing the puck.
No.
Yeah.
So I think the puck was going to Jeff Skinner.
And
It
then
hits McDavid right there, changes angle, hopped on the nice stick.
And Matthew Nice
Goal.
makes no mistake.
But that Bouchard one on McMahon, boy, you need to work, buddy.
But why would it be going for Jeff Skinner as well? He was going off for a change.
You want me to try and make an unreasonable decision seem reasonable?
I searched up.
fair enough.
yeah, like what are you asking of me here?
I just searched up like those 2 goals, and Maple Leafs, and this is the video of those 2 goals that we just talked about. Maple Leafs net back-to-back goals off Evan Bouchard's inexcusable plays. That is from
Both of them.
That's Sportsnet.
Both of them were bad.
Send him to Bakersfield.
I'm just watching the one right
Yeah,
now.
it's like
Oh,
obviously you don't throw almost
this
like
is-
a hospital pass like
This is the
from
pass.
one side of the ice over to the other because 7-8 guys are in the middle of the ice and you
Yeah.
can hit one of them.
Yeah.
And then just the work ethic thing is like, dude, come on.
You're in the NHL.
You're in the NHL, like you are closer than the other guy. Even if you're not faster than him, you at least got to
Like,
get
try.
to the puck.
Yeah.
Don't stand up at your blue line.
Like he just leaves Stuart Skinner out to dry.
Yeah, you really have to watch. I think the worst one is the McMahon goal, where he's coming back and he's by far the closest person to the puck and he loses. I think that is the most egregious
Yeah.
one.
And I do apologize. It does actually bounce off McDavid like pretty, like unluckily, but still, why are you passing that? It is a brutal pass.
I don't know. I think plays like that damage the prospect of him going to the Four Nations. I would think.
Yep.
I think that really puts a dent in his armor as far as his case goes.
Yeah.
So hard to like.
That's almost like a Hail Mary in football. It's like you're going across the ice, you know the risks, and you do it
Yeah.
anyway. It's like
You're going for that breakaway.
that came up with the worst case scenario. If he did hit that, and I know like it did show Skinner was going off for a change. If he hits that pass and Edmonton goes and scores, we're not talking about that. We're talking about how great of a pass that was from Bouchard.
Yeah. It's true.
Are we ready to move off of the Oilers?
Yes.
Always.
Okay, before we move to breaking news from pretty much just before the show today, something that was said last Tuesday, but we didn't cover. Yeah, something said last Tuesday, but it wasn't covered on the last show, is that the trial date was set for the 2018 assault case. I'm not going to get too deep into it aside from Casey, you're going home in April. Red Char, you're going home in April. The 3 of us get to talk about this during the playoffs.
Good for you.
That's
And-
what I
and-
want. That's
and
what we should be
practical.
focused on during the playoffs
Yep.
for sure. I don't know why
'cause-
they're dragging it out so long.
Because
Just get it over with.
The case begins April 22nd, which is right around the first round.
And we have to balance that, playoffs, and our practicums.
Yep.
Oh, this is going to be lovely.
Yeah, so that'll be something to try and juggle. But yeah, that'll honestly, that whole case will probably go the duration of the playoffs. And if I am any head exec up at the NHL,
That's a nightmare.
that is a nightmare. Because last year we were talking about, like the first round is always peak hockey. There's hockey every day, all the time. It's so fun. And then you have this come up.
I don't understand why it's so far away. Like, we've been talking about this thing for years.
So it was originally.
And why can't we just get it done and, like, so that it can be over?
I think it was originally September, but then something kind of opened up or fell through, which is why they moved it up to April. Moved it up to April.
What falls through?
I don't know. This is
We're
something I
working
just
with
kind of
their
like heard.
schedules. They can go play in the KHL while they're like
Actually, I
wanted
think
criminals. Like, come on.
Someone just recently, from one of those 5 players, did recently, I think, signed today to a KHL team.
Yeah, I know, because for some reason they're allowed to
Yeah.
frickin' do that.
I was also gonna say, Alex, I doubt the NHL even thinks about that. NHL has never thought about this event ever happening. They don't think about it very often. They don't even claim it's their players. So I can't see them having a thought about it. Or they're trying, but I don't think the scheduling has to do with the NHL.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying.
I just don't.
And
They're like, that didn't
like-
happen.
Yeah.
Literally.
especially in the first round, it's something that NHL execs look forward to a bunch because it's like the best time of year, in my opinion.
There's you literally cannot go and for almost 2 weeks. There's not a day with no hockey.
No, yeah.
It's so nice.
And to have this being, because the NHL used to employ these people as well, to have this being brought up in that same breath around that most exciting time of the year, I think for NHL execs is unfortunate, to put it lightly.
I think it's unfortunate that they're worried about it. I think it should be dealt with and over with by now. Like, again, we've been talking about this for so freaking long. Like, why are we letting them try and reinvent themselves when I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. I think it should have been dealt with a long time ago.
Yeah.
This literally got announced almost a year ago.
Yeah,
the names dropped.
We were all together when this stuff happened.
Yeah, the names dropped almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And nothing's happened. They're allowed to still play pretty much professional hockey.
Yep.
While they're about to be on trial for one of the most ridiculous things that have ever tarnished A, the name of our sport that we love, B, the country. Come on. Dial in. Let's get it done.
I just wanted to
we
make
gotta
sure
move on.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
got mentioned. This is something to kind of keep an eye on because there's also some more pre-trial motions scheduled for November 25th.
So speaking of it taking so long, hopefully something that doesn't take so long is Ovechkin's insane goal run that he's been on right now.
That's what I forgot
It's
to bring
going
up.
to take a little long because now
Ovechkin.
he's hurt, isn't he?
Is he at
He's
2,000
out.
points yet? No.
I believe he is currently 27 goals away after last night's game.
Because he got a hat trick.
Yep.
He did?
He scored.
Oh my God.
But he's gotten a point.
Poor
His
guy.
last time he's gotten so many points. He's been insane. But
Yes.
he will not be getting any points within the next few weeks as he was injured.
Yeah, he went knee on knee with Jack McBain of the Utah Hockey Club.
Thankfully, it is only knee to knee. I think a lot of people thought it could, with his age, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Because he's not very gentle with his body. He does throw himself around.
And something I was watching the Grey Cup with my dad, wife, and grandpa, and we were talking about Ovechkin during it, and I made the point of he's pretty much on pace to break it this season.
Yeah. Not anymore.
No, which would have been pretty neat.
Could you imagine how bad it would have been if he had career ending? Just it's over. That would have
He
been.
looks way older than 39 years.
That
He's got a lot of gray.
He always
There's just
has.
guys who
Yeah.
go. There's just guys who go gray early.
Where's Sidney Crosby?
I think he's been gray since he's been
Hey, Sidney Crosby's
26.
Look at that
rough.
gray
He
beard.
looks good. He looks good.
My dad is
Yeah.
15 years older than Ovechkin, and he looks younger.
He looks-
It's not it's not bad either.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's.
Casey just made a
Anyway,
comparison
enough
to
about
Crosby.
how Ovechkin looks.
So it's probably going to be next season.
Next
I
season,
I think he's going to hit it, but it's going to be next season,
Yeah, unfortunately.
and
which is a shame.
the
'cause
good,
only needs
the good
27
thing
more.
is, since it's only knee on knee, it is not like if this was something else, we'd be talking, is he going to play again?
Yeah. He was diagnosed week to week though, thankfully.
It's
so.
only week to week. The only worry that you then have is his body and does he come back at 100%?
True.
I mean, I think he comes back regardless, and whenever there's an empty net for the opposing team, Ovechkin's thrown over the boards, and it's
Well, that's what I
kicking
mean.
and screaming. You get the ball to Massimo.
That's what I mean.
You get the puck to Ovechkin.
Even as most of us here have been athletes, as you get older in your sport, your body hurts a lot more through the older.
groin
I
has not
was
been
just
the
going to
same.
say, I don't think Alex has been as injury prone as other players his age kind of.
He's been-
We all looked right at me.
What? Oh,
You sound like
oh, sorry, because I'm
I mean,
referring.
I am also fairly injury
Sorry, I'm
prone.
on a first name basis.
Yeah.
No, you hope.
I was like, why am I being brought up here?
He's honestly been quite an
Were
Iron
we not
Man
calling him out?
in the NHL.
Oh, yeah. I can't even.
It's he's got so many seasons where it's either high 60s to 70s and in the 80s that he's played.
Especially lately.
38 years old last year, played 79 games.
He's a recent 50 goal scorer.
The,
He scored 50 in 21-22.
Yeah, that's recent.
The lowest amount of games he's ever played.
Post-pandemic.
35, 36. He's either 35 or 36 when he scored 50 goals.
The lowest games he's ever played in a season was the
He's a
shortened
Virgo.
season in 45.
What does that tell us
He
about him,
is
Casey?
born September 17th.
What does that tell us?
so we
What
can
does
figure
that
out.
mean?
What does that mean?
No,
What
it's
does
just
it
you were
mean?
asking saying, oh, he was either this age or this age. I'm like, oh, his birthday's September. So he would have
What-
been 36, I guess.
Yeah.
Does
so
that make him? Does
scores-
it make him more or less
No,
hot?
I just know
scores
his
50
birthday.
goals
That's
at the
all
age
it was.
Scores 50 goals at the age of 36. The guy's just built.
Guy's an animal.
The guy's just built to score.
He is the Russian machine that never breaks.
I think he will literally play until he breaks it, and then next day he's like, all right, I'm
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Yager in the Czech league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he breaks. I would not
gonna
be
go buy a
surprised if he
team.
breaks it, and then it's just
go-
fully on oh, I'm not playing for 10 games. I'm gonna go hang out in Cuba for 2 weeks,
He's
then
gonna
I'll
play
come
with-
back and play.
He's gonna play with Kuznetsov.
Is that all we wanted to hit on Capitals?
There's a quick injury thing with. Do you want to touch on the Matthews one?
Oh yes.
we missed that.
So Austin Matthews.
I know this is big news.
Kind of weirdly got injured, and I think it was upper body injury.
And he's in Germany now.
And he's now in Germany.
That's not good.
No,
I mean, it depends who you ask.
When
If you ask
that.
Mitch Marner, it's kind of a blessing in disguise.
Yes, my fantasy
When
team
Or
as
Willie.
well.
When you send somebody to Germany, I don't know if somebody in Toronto was like, "Hey, we want you to go." When you go, it is something you are very worried about. Christian McCaffrey was sent to Germany this year because they were terrified that Achilles tendonitis was much worse than they thought.
Do they have good doctors there?
Germany's like some of the best.
That's
Okay.
what's the scare. That's the scary.
That's
part.
the
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
thing. If this is just a traditional, I don't know, deep bone bruise, maybe it's just sprained AC joint, you're not necessarily going to Germany. I think this could be worse than week to week.
You don't think they just all have the money? They have all the money. and
That
they're
was
just
going to be my thing. Is
They have
Go
the
to-
money.
so
so much
to the
money
best
behind
place
them.
first.
Might as well go
Germany,
anyway.
You have the fear that
your career could be done.
not even just career,
Well,
because he's still a young guy. He's gonna be okay, but it's is this a season of your prime that's now just gonna get kind of tossed out the window?
And how much does this affect your career going forward?
do we know what part of the upper body it is?
Just the upper body.
Okay.
Because we made jokes about that he was sick again.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I literally just recently, once there was said today that he went to Germany. That's the first time I've actually seen the upper body part of an injury.
Because for some reason I always thought it was his chest, but he had a massive wrist issue
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
Say wrist has always
So maybe they're sending him to Germany
Is
to
that
try
upper
and
body?
get that.
Yeah.
I would say it's upper body.
It
Because
depends how long your arms are.
been. Yeah.
well, I
what?
think it's this. I think this is the guy.
Yeah.
Do this.
This T-pose.
But I think I kind of see where Casey's come from, and I kind of see where Braden's coming from, and Marek. But also, I mean, it's pretty easy for us to knee-jerk react to it because I'm on Casey's
upper body.
point, if I had millions and millions and millions of dollars and I knew the best doctors were in Germany and I had nothing to do for 4 weeks, why wouldn't I spend $2,000 to go to Germany
Or
just to check?
I also
right?
wonder,
So it's easy to knee-jerk
They're in
it.
Germany, not Czech.
do the team
That's what that came into my head.
do
Too.
the team doctors have connections with a doctor that's there too? I wonder. I don't know. Is it
I
just
think-
I'm sure they can connect to any
Well,
doctor.
Yeah.
like Braeden said too, I
They
think
can
there's
easily
all
connect,
Especially for
and
Matthews.
Toronto's not releasing anything.
yeah.
No,
And
They
the 49ers,
keep him at day to day. I guarantee. He's
And
not
you
day
shouldn't
to
mention
day.
anything. You shouldn't mention a word.
Because
No,
you
you
get into playoffs, he's got a wrist injury. Okay, that's the first thing someone that a Patrick Maroon, for example, would go for.
Or even,
Good thing Ryan Reeves is on his team.
or even the press in Toronto would be like, "Oh, it's his wrist acting up again," or
Well, yeah,
it's like,
press in Toronto
like a bunch
is
of
horrible,
fear mongering.
so.
Yeah.
He'll miss the net and be like, oh, it's that wrist.
yeah, the
saying-
wrist acting up.
They're saying no surgery, which I mean, for the most part, unless it's you're going out for
So you're
multiple months.
You're going to Germany and it's not even surgery,
Well, that's the other thing I was going to get to.
or is that just a
Even-
lie?
No.
they
I
lying
guarantee
to
you
us?
there's not surgery with this unless he goes there and they're like, oh, by the way, this is absolutely messed up. You need this done. He won't get surgery.
I
but
think that's worst case scenario though.
worst case scenario is he goes there and they're like, oh yeah, you're done for a season. Get you on the operating table tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then it's this could literally just be he goes and they say, we can rehab this. There is no magic fix that's going to get you back in 2 months, but we can get you back in 2 months. You're not going to play before that. It's when they put McCaffrey on IR, they're like, oh, 4 weeks, Achilles tendonitis. Just let him rest.
Yeah.
That turned into 9 weeks that he was just out. And
That's probably also for partly precautionary too, a little bit.
yeah, it's precautionary. And then you're also looking at it almost as if, we don't want to send him back too early because with something that could be that severe, that's a season. If you're mid-season, that's 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously with the Matthews being the Leafs, that's the guy. You don't want to you don't even want to attempt to risk that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're protecting your investment like that, spending $3,000 on a couple airplane tickets really isn't that big of a deal.
No, it's not.
And honestly, there's a part of me that wouldn't be surprised if he's back by this time December.
I'm just gonna give him some gravel for his tummy ache.
Well,
This time December, it's about a month then?
I think we won't. I think it's 3 weeks minimum is when we're gonna see Matthews next.
3 weeks.
How
think
far
3
away
weeks
is this
minimum.
time in December?
about 4 weeks, about a month.
About a month.
About a month-ish.
So do you guys want to go to the Leafs' best friend?
Jim Montgomery.
That's not sure, I guess. Or the the old Leafs best friends head coach? The Boston Bruins?
You could have just said that let's go to the Boston.
Let's speak in riddles.
Okay, the Riddler.
Look, I got my one good transition like wasted.
Yeah,
so
that's
try.
true. That is true.
My
Yeah.
one good one actually got wasted.
He's trying. That was a Hail Mary.
My Ovechkin
You might
one-
have to go get yourself checked out in
That's
Germany
my
after that one.
So
I'm going to check.
can I
Have you been
try
hit in the
different?
head recently?
Can I try a different?
Probably.
Can I try a different segue?
Yes.
Good. You're not,
Speaking of potential knee-jerk reactions,
There we go. That was better.
I'm still so upset about my.
the Bruins
Ovechkin
lost 5-1 to the Jackets last night, and today they fired their head coach.
That's brutal.
one. I wonder what other team would benefit by doing that.
I was looking at their standings, and they're second in the wild card spot, 8-9-3. I understand Boston is the city of champions.
I think that's a pretty knee-jerk reaction. Of all the teams
There was
that are doing like subpar, I would not have expected this from the Boston Bruins. I think put some respect on Columbus's name. Come on, really?
Yeah.
I also
You
want to.
get kicked by that team, and now you.
I also want to
drop
say
your coach.
in that
Okay.
Well, but
in that
that's-
same game.
Like that's the sack game. Like that's the.
Yeah.
There's probably a talk before that. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, if this goes badly, like we're talking like it was 5-1, like that's it, and that's why it probably came out like immediately, like less than 24 hours after.
So cards on the
There was
table.
also a 3-game losing streak there too.
So cards on the table. I don't live on Legends Way in Boston.
No way.
Oh really?
So I don't know the temperature in the city. I don't know how tight Montgomery's leash was.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Was in that Columbus game, he was yelling at Marchand and basically went like, "Oh, your jersey doesn't have a seat," but was like to Marchand.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna to use as a prop. God. But
it does have a
basically,
seat, but it's the wrong seat.
basically insinuating that like you need to speak up as a captain, which obviously if you have a very bad relationship between your captain and your coach, that's gonna bleed into the rest of the players.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to tell a guy who's Brad Marchand, please speak to your players.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And one of us, it wasn't me, I think it was Casey, brought up the Cam Neely coach
Yeah.
stat.
Yeah.
If
it
you want to
was
bring that up.
from a tweet from the Empty Netters podcast, they said that
It's
that's
not better than ours.
under Cam Neely's presidency or vice presidency. This is now the third Jack Adams winning coach that has been fired.
The one guy was on Vegas now.
Who's Cassidy?
Yes, that was one of them. Jim Montgomery. And who was the one before?
Claude Julien?
I thought I was gonna say Claude Giroux.
I thought it
Me
was
too.
two.
I was like, what? Where are we going with this?
Why do I think it was Claude Julien?
I'm getting put in the office. I'm in the office.
So
Holy cow.
when does it,
Yeah, Claude Julien.
boom, when does the buck or when does the axe come down on Cam Neely then?
I find
'Cause
that with every
he's
team
probably doing
that
the
fires
hiring
their
here.
coach. I find that with a lot of teams that are firing their coaches right now. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but ownership can stay. Like these people can stay here for years and years and years,
Mm-hmm.
but as soon as something's wrong, the coach just goes.
I think it depends on the situation. Like, there's a lot of teams where the management's good, but the coaching's not.
That's just sports.
True. I'm currently
or
experiencing
the coaching's good, but the management's not.
You're gonna.
Could that be
Why?
a thing?
What are you
Okay.
doing?
Yeah.
I hate NHL websites.
What are you trying to do?
Find the standings on the Boston Bruins. There's no.
They're second in the wild card.
Yeah. Well, thank you, but I.
Oh, I also just found it. Sorry,
should
this
be
is
there.
back.
This is what I'm saying.
This is back on
It's
Alex
there for every
Ovechkin.
other
He's
team, it's
missed
not there.
35 games to injury in 19 years.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ovechkin's an
I just saw that tweet
Like-
also, but
Not Phil Kessel level, but you
Not
know.
Phil Kessel.
No one can be.
Candle.
I need a
Hot
team
dog.
right now to sign Phil Kessel. He is, I believe, 8 points away from 1,000. Get that man on a team.
Get him back to
Flames
Toronto.
have
It
the
would be-
opportunity to do
No,
something
I'd
amazing.
actually
Anyone but that team.
Just out of like interest, I'd be like curious to see like a DEXA scan of Phil Kessel.
A what?
Oh, what is that?
It's like when you
Did
like
you go to Germany?
no.
Texas.
It kind of just like shows everything like about
Oh.
you, like your BMI, like all that.
It's a bone density test.
Yeah, like because if he's just
How do you
like
do
not
it?
Missing
Let's
games
just do our
and his
own.
diet was like
Hot
hot
dogs and
dogs and
Coca-Cola.
everything, like
Well, have you seen Ovechkin?
how are you doing?
Like, that is actually really true. He's the hot dog. Everyone's seen that one.
Because
photo.
it's like
dog
you see
game.
so many things like players go on this like strict plant protein diet so they can prolong their careers. It's like
Ovechkin?
Phil Kessel just didn't care and he just didn't miss
Yeah.
games.
I think Ovechkin has a similar diet to Phil Kessel.
Ovechkin seems like the type to smoke between periods.
Absolutely.
He
I would
definitely does.
1,000% believe if he did it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's no cameras in that room because of the,
Yeah, because you can't
In the
see.
Capitals locker room, you
it's
have a
actually-
smoking
it's
section
quite
and a
popular with,
non-smoking section.
It's popular with older European soccer goalies that they smoke.
It's popular with Europeans in general.
Well, that's true.
Like
And he
the
is a
attitude for
European.
smoking
But
is
I
completely
mean,
different.
I was just like kind of making the analogy to like athletes. It's like
yeah.
Wojciech Szczesny was a goalie that played for Juventus, one of the best clubs in Italy,
Juve.
and with Barcelona, like they're like, "Why are you smoking?" He goes, "I've done it my whole life." Like,
yeah. Well, I
don't
mean,
care.
This is my routine.
Yeah.
ski jumpers used to live off of cigarettes and popcorn because they needed to weigh 70 pounds, right? So
I could live off popcorn.
You could not.
You could not.
I could figure it out.
There's
I'm
no
sure you
nutritional
can.
value.
There's no
that's
calories in it.
That's my favorite
That's
food.
why.
That's why.
You'd make it. I think.
I make
like
it maybe 5 days.
Plain popcorn.
I think you're doing two.
No. Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Plain
I
popcorn.
forgot butter and salt are.
Lots of calories.
So if you're putting salt on there, like you are gonna hate yourself.
Yeah. I know.
Before we jump to our closing Q-warners,
I think you said that
I
every time.
do have a question,
What's your question?
about Boston now.
I had a question.
I have
to
a
get to
Boston
as well.
friend who tells me way too much. So
What is the goal here? What is the end game with them now? Do you want Joe Sacco
Save the
to
season.
bring this team to the playoffs?
well, you would assume so. Even though
Like, is that why you fire him this early? Is
Well,
because you want Sacco
so-
to get a read and drag him there?
I don't maybe, but like look, their goaltending's been Korpisalo's been better than Swayman, and Swayman was not playing in preseason,
Yeah, Swayman missing camp is huge.
and now it's showing. Korpisalo is a much better goalie than Jeremy Swayman,
Which is crazy.
which is like who, and also for context, he was considered, I believe, one of the top 5 worst goalies of last season. So maybe I get like change in scenery, but like that's also not helping. It didn't help that you lost 7-2 to Dallas, you lost 3-2 to St. Louis, and you lost 5-1 to Columbus. Why are Boston and Pittsburgh so similar in their losses?
Casey, you had a question?
It's literally so off topic. It's just about Austin Matthews again.
Sure.
I'm so sorry.
Why not?
But Chris Johnston's tweet is saying currently in Munich receiving treatment from a doctor he's worked with in the past.
Okay.
Also, Austin played in Switzerland.
With
So in my-
the Zurich Lions.
That's close, right?
Yeah.
Fairly.
So
Close enough.
I guarantee that's a connection
So-
from over there.
Yeah, but no,
But
sorry.
if
I
it's
just
somebody who worked with in the past and he had a wrist issue.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes me think it's the wrist
I
issue.
wouuld be
Yeah.
surprised if this is wrist again.
No,
Okay,
I,
sorry.
I
And
would
Sorry.
they're
agree.
Which
just
makes a
saying
lot of
upper
sense.
body to be like, oh, we just don't want to say anything. But
if you hold it up here, it's upper body.
I just have one question before we head into the Q corner.
Yo.
Do we think Boston makes playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I was also a
who's
person-
gonna make it?
Yeah,
from
who are you
division?
swapping out for that?
Senators.
Yak.
Get yacked.
like
Not
me,
even playing
me being
for
a,
'em.
okay, like me being a non-biased.
No. you're
Hockey
not-
fan.
no. Don't say it.
It's going to be the Montreal Canadiens.
If me be,
Damn
ugh.
right.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
What?
Lane Hudson. Yes.
How many teams from each division make it? 3?
Three and then
plus
wild
2 wild
cards.
cards.
Yeah.
The more
From
I
each division?
the more I look at this, the more
8
ugh.
teams each.
Well, no.
Quite honestly,
No,
Three from each division, but then there's 2 wild cards per conference.
In the conference. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
so I think Boston could get most likely beaten out by the Islanders the most compared to like
Yeah, okay.
they're not going to get out, but they're not going to be like
What?
the Flyers, the Senators, the Sabres, the Penguins, the Jackets.
Wrong.
I think we're.
Oh,
I think
see.
we're.
Oh,
again.
Isn't it so weird though that like the Senators win a game, they're in a playoff spot. Buffalo wins a game, they're in a playoff spot. The Pittsburgh Penguins win a game, they're in a playoff spot. The Philadelphia Flyers win a game and they're in a playoff spot.
What's great about this
They are-
is we are
They win a game,
still
they
under
will be in
25
the
games into the
spot. They
season.
technically be a spot.
And
Yeah.
Boston is such a
lots
good
of
team.
talent.
It's like, yeah, I know that they're not playing well. Edmonton wasn't playing well last year, and then they won 16 in a row. Teams figure things out.
But yeah, I don't think no team's gonna
Life
do the
finds a
16
way.
games again. Not recently, anyways.
No team's going to do that again.
Didn't Winnipeg just like almost do that?
They almost did.
Yeah.
But,
Well, yeah, I guess.
yeah, Boston's going to be fine.
Dub Corner.
Dub corner. Let me do
Corner.
some math here. 2 games since our last show. We wrapped up the U.S. road trip. Fantastic success. 4-0-2
Great success.
against the U.S. teams. That is insane.
That's
What
great.
is a mile?
That's amazing.
Insane.
What is a mile?
What's a
Yeah,
mile?
What is a mile?
Oh, what's a mile?
Just say,
It's just,
no, you gotta
it's just beaver emojis instead of the
you
bald
gotta put, you
eagles.
gotta put like the A. What's a mile? A.
What's a mile, eh? Beaver, 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 beaver.
Obviously highlighted by the 7-2 dominance of Spokane, who continues to be the fifth in the Western Conference. So that's a great team to have a great performance against. Pretty much everyone showed up. Like up until like the start of the U.S. road trip, it was kind of the Ben Kindle show. Like he was getting pretty much doing everything. He always had the assists, always had the goals. The past few games have been pretty evenly distributed, but I guess that's easy to do when you score 14 goals in 3 games. Looking at the standings, we have popped up a little bit. I think at the last show we did, we were sitting in 8th or 9th. We're sitting tied for 5th right now, so that's pretty sweet. 10, 7, 3, and 1.
Tied for 4th.
Tied for 4th. Oh, yeah, tied for 4th. Look at us go. We're tied with the Medicine Hat Tigers and the Brandon Wheat Kings. Pretty epic days for the Calgary Hitmen. The Teddy Bear Toss is in sight. That is just 2 weeks away, I believe, on December 1st. Very excited for that. Before that, we play Vancouver and Edmonton here in Calgary starting on November 22nd. We travel down to Med Hat, which is going to be a pretty big game considering they're one of the teams that we're tied with. And then Moose Jaw for the Teddy Bear Toss on the 1st. That's going to be exciting.
I think that's one of the coolest things in sports.
It is, especially in Calgary sports.
Oh, 100%.
It is the coolest thing in Calgary sports.
Who's going to score for Calgary if London Hoylett's not on the team anymore?
It's going to be Ben Campbell.
What's going to happen? Okay.
Wait, when is the Teddy Bear Toss again?
December 1st.
December
First.
What day does that fall?
Sunday, December 1st.
So Thursday we should make predictions of who scores the game winner.
We can do that.
There's also a trade for Calgary as
Of
well.
what kind
if
of
you
teddy
wanna,
bears are thrown on?
Do you want to talk about that?
There
or-
was a
goal?
trade. I don't think it was that from
Panda Bear.
just off the top of my head. I don't think it was that big of a deal.
A lot of assets went the other way.
A lot of assets going the other way, but that's because Kalen Parker coming over from Moose Jaw, he's not like a rookie. Like I think he was 05.
I'm not proud of that.
Yeah.
That you
No,
were
it doesn't even say.
saying so.
Anyway, good acquisition. We sent over a prospect and some picks. That's about it.
Q.
Q corner.
All
Cue the
right,
cue.
so since last episode, Cape Breton completed their road trip into the lovely pothole province of Quebec. I'm probably gonna get some hate for
Can we say that? Can we?
I mean, that's
Can I-
fine.
Donuts.
He's not wrong.
There's probably a pothole or two.
If
in
you
Quebec.
win-
Donuts. Just you
if-
say 2 swears.
If you've been to Quebec, I'm not wrong.
I'm not saying I disagree.
Frenchies don't come
World
after
traveler.
I'm not saying I
Whoa.
disagree with you. I'm just saying, can we say that?
me. Frenchies don't kill me, but I'm not wrong.
Okay, well that's probably crossing the line.
Cape Breton beat Victoriaville to start off the road trip 6-2. And then they lost to Blainville 4-0, which that one hurt, but that's okay. And then they end up losing in overtime to Shawinigan 3-2.
Shawinigan.
What do they do? They won again.
They Shawinigan.
They should won again.
The Shawinigan. Nothing really important to note. I mean, points-wise, a kid from Rimouski has just blown up recently. He's at
His name is Sidney
36.
Crosby.
Matthew Cataford, 36 points.
I wish.
Over 20 of those coming on. He's got 26 assists. So 10 goals, 26 assists
Oh my goodness. The
in
guy needs to shoot more.
22 games.
Oh.
Wow.
You have a point per game when it comes to just assists?
Yes.
What the
Yeah.
hell? That is insane.
That's crazy.
This man has an empty net. He's like, no, you take it.
And with that help, Rimouski has won 5 straight and has put themselves in contention at the top of the East.
That's my team.
Nice.
The East is kind of starting to separate a bit. Moncton's still at the top, 3 teams at 31, then Acadie, Bathurst at 28, and then it's all the Maritime
Oh
teams.
my God, Charlottetown is buns.
Charlottetown is not very
There's a
good.
20-point separation between them and first.
Yes.
Oh,
And if you even look at it, it's like the top 5 teams are like, well, Acadie Bathurst is in New Brunswick. They are quite north. It's like the Maritime teams, they're not looking too great this year. 6, 7, 8,
No.
9, or 6, 7, 8, and 10. So
Or Quebec
that's
Mountains.
pretty much all I've got for that. Drummondville and Moncton still battling it out up top, although they're on the same points. Moncton has only played 21 games, and Drummondville's played 23.
And with that, we will wrap the show for today.
There's one thing I wanted to mention. Eric Tu and Kaysen Kabelka are showing to be one of the best goaltending pairings and one of the youngest goaltending pairings in the WHL. Kaysen Kabelka.
Yes, Casey Kabelka.
2-0.
Oh, Kaysen.
No, K-Sun. K-Son Kabelka.
And on that note,
And on that note, we will wrap the show for today. We will have trivia on Thursday with a bit of a shorter show as well.
Trivia Master.
PWHL news has been pushed to Thursday. So barring any earth-shattering news, it'll be Flames, PW, and trivia on Thursday with Quiz Master Casey. But that is it for today's show. I've been yours, Alex, with Phil Tremblay, Marek Robinson,
Alejandro,
Keith Freeman,
Boom.
Braeden Redshaw.
It's called poutine.
It's also my birthday on the Thursday show.
Happy early
Yay,
birthday.
guess his age. Oh.
60. He's old. Sorry.
Hey.
Enjoy the Islanders game. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Try